Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, finery, everybody else out in the audience. Welcome. Thanks so much for dropping in. Yeah, um, got a couple of days of relaxation to going on, so doing an unusually unusual stream this evening. So yeah, welcome along. Thanks very much for being here. Gonna be working on the factory, probably working on the space station, and just generally putting around doing DU. So let's get into it. Oh, we'll probably wind up having to go raid an asteroid as well because I need rock. Um, I'm chewing through a couple things pretty quickly right now, so probably will worth my time and investment to go get myself a rock. But yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. All right. Ta-da! All right, let's get to it. Boop. First thing I need to do is fix that. I forgot those were there. And then there's this thing, which I don't need up here. Wah! Stop, 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 stop. Wrong button. Ugh. Dummy. Keep doing that. I'm in build mode. I want voxel select mode, not press build mode again to edit. There we go. You can go away. Oh, here we are. Where did I put the antenna? Does anyone remember? I had an antenna. It was there, associated with the blinky lights, but where did I put my antenna? Okay. That's awkward. How did I lose an antenna? Alright, well, I'll just relocate these for now. There. Oh, found the antenna. Well, I'll leave it there for now, and I'll move those lights later, because this needs to get bigger, and, yeah, stuff. Alright. Let's put some music on. I don't know why it felt I needed to have that conversation, but sure. And there we go. Got some music going. Okay. Alright, we got tiny factories are factorying. Awesome. I have some transparent screens. That will let me do that. And then, yeah, I need the polished light gray aluminum. Right. Turn this one off for now. Oh, no, not that one. This one. Top. There. Doke. Doopy doo. MAR. Okay, so that's doing the thing. Now, over here, I had decided I wanted a door because this was getting awkward. So let's take a look at that. What door do I have? Okay, let's go get... You can go in here. You can go in here. That's fantastic. And we'll throw that in here. That gets them up to 800. I need to work on this corner next, I think will be the agenda. Okay, I want elements. Doesn't need to be an airlock. Interior door. Reinforced. How big does that wind up? Yeah, it's a bit of a brute. Well, the only way to make it fit there is to knock out the next piece. That's not necessarily the end of the world. Right? And I have to dippy-do the door there, but that's Yeah, okay, let's think that. You can go away. Let's saw that out for now. And then I need... What's the easiest way to do this? Right. We seem to be lacking some material, though. Okay, so what are we missing? Um, no. That's my problem right there. Galvanized dark blue steel. Do I have any made already? No. Okay, I'll have to add it. Okay, I'll have to wait for a minute or two for that to spin up. Okay, so well, it's going to take a minute for that to run. So while I'm waiting, I can do other stuff. There. Yep, that's fine. Works. It's something about that size, right? Cut that out of there. There we go. And then I need to take the ground stomper and stomp the ground. There, that ought to be, no, that's not going to be deep enough. Pending operations, okay. Who's in the neighborhood? Yeah, 120 people on, maybe. There, that ought to do it. That lets the divot for the door dip appropriately. And then here, and that's fine like that. That'll do. Alright, that looks pretty good. There's exactly not enough room to put a second one in there, is there? Unless I cut the door over. No, even if I move it over a full block, still not. Right, because we're what, two... Yeah, we're 2 squares into that next window, so it wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. Right, we do that. Yeah, still no. Yeah, it's exactly no. And I'm not going to redo this whole corner to get what the extra voxel. There we go. Okay. However, in the meantime, there, right? That tidies that up nicely. Like so. There, that'll do that. Right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being here. If you got any comments or questions about the game, what I'm doing, whatever, do shout out. Love to hear from you. That is an excess zone. Okay, that's what I thought I was using there. It's an excess zone, and I would like the bias on the interior. Relay thingy. Equip. We'll just glue that to the floor for a moment. Now up here will do. And then I'll need another one of them there. I need an operator or two. I don't know if I need that, but I'll plug it in now. I can always take it out. Equip. Okay. You're going to go there. You're going to go there. And then I need light. I need 2 more excess. Actually, we'll do 1 and 2, and then equip. I'll do that. Okay, and I need there we go. Doesn't count if you don't plug it in. And let's grab this off of here. Okay, let's try something here. All right. Nope, not that. All right. Okay, we'll go with the area lights. Are going to be that. And that's these. And then we'll go here, advanced. Right, now those are going to get plugged into the top relay. So when the door is open, they come on. And then these ones down here, I'm going to do in probably ship blue trim. Right, so there we go. And then these are going to be hooked up to this one. Now we're going to need to move all of this up one. And then you are going to go there with that in the middle of it. And then we're going to pop that open, throw this over here, throw this over here, and then come outside, rinse and repeat. I can't put it there, there's just not enough material, right? So it'll live here. So right, you get the idea. Bubble's just too small, but you get the idea. There's a little faint blue cast around the area where the door is, and then when you get in, when you actually door opens, you get a big flood of light. You can clearly see what's going on around you. All right. Now I want barriers. Don't have any in stock. Okay. Oh, really? Huh. All right. Stuff back on. What the hell are you? Barrier S. Well, damn, George. All right. Well, that's okay. I know I made them, as evidenced by the fact that there's some right there. But hey, we're here. We'll just mark that as a 2. Barrier S. Barrier M. Okay, well, that's aggravating. And Control L. Nope, not Control K. Control L. Okay, what? How is this not finished anything? B. 6. Okay. Just dragging your backside. Okay. Yeah, something's not right there. But here we go. That's 1,000 cubic meters. That'll keep them going for a little while. I think they said they wanted 2,000 cubic meters in that bin, so we'll keep going. Still no, huh? All right. What are you? Matte gray carbon fiber. Nope, there's lots of that. That's not the problem. Polished yellow steel. There's no yellow steel. That'll do it. Okay. There we go. And that's okay. We got everything now. Cool. Huh. We went a little deeper than usual, apparently. That's fine. Because the idea is that that frame, if you will, should be level with the deck. Okay, we'll have to pad that in. Like that, right? Okay, well. I'm okay with that. Okay, and then there's this strip here that needs to get copied. There we go. And we do the same thing out here. There we go. So Door, get close. Door opens. Lights come on. It works. Okay. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. Next, I want to do. You're going to be a brat about this, aren't you? Does that look terrible? I think. Yeah, I don't think that'd look bad. Be a couple of bits, but that's. I think we're going to slide it one over to the right. No, not that. Yep, we can work with that. That's not far off. Okay. And we'll do the same thing going out this way just to finish this up. But you don't have to do the whole thing, just the, well, works out to be the same thing, I suppose. Whoops. What happened there? Huh. Well, that's peculiar. I've never had that happen before. Huh. Why is it doing that? Well, fine. Aha. It's the... Okay, I see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what it was. It was the way the voxels were stretching. So I just need to leave one piece of native earth in place, as it were. There we go. Alright, cool. Did I do... No, I haven't actually put any angle corners in. I've just been doing open corners. That's fine. That's as close to a corner as it gets, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, can't do that. Not enough room. That's okay, too. No, that's not what I meant. Copy. There we are, right? There we go. That looks pretty tidy. And it makes it a little bit more obvious that there's a pathway, right? Cool. All right. That's probably time to push the button over here. And then I need to figure out what's going on here. Are you actually a chef? No, you're a screen. Okay. Yeah, there's code here. Yep, okay. Did I not plug it into... Okay, it is plugged into the data bank. So, yeah, that's not the problem. Because what I'm not seeing here are items on the chef list. Oh, no, there we are. Assembly, yeah, okay, no. Let's ask the obvious question. Yeah, there's stuff in there. So that ain't it either. So it is producing and storing material. It's got stuff. Okay, it's just taking its time. Huh. Interesting. Mm. Oh, one sec. Thank you. Yeah, my Stream Deck is apparently misbehaving. It's supposed to undo that before I went live, and it didn't. So my apologies. Thank you very much. Whoop. So, yeah. There you go. Bit of free pretty lights. I'm really sorry about that. That's really bloody aggravating. Well, yeah, so have I... So the short version is that I use the same set of rules that members of the POC and LGBTQ community use. And so they, because they've had several instances where bots go into a channel after it goes offline, spew a bunch of racist stuff, and then somebody else goes in and reports the channel and gets the channel taken down, even though it wasn't online at the time. And so several members of the POC LGBTQ community basically have to lock their channels when they go off the air. So I do the same thing. And like I say, I've got a button I push that's supposed to turn all that off, but apparently it didn't. Did I forget to plug those in? Is that the next question to answer here? How's that working? What the hell did I manage to do here? Oh, yellow. It's the yellow ones I want. I'm not... Yeah, okay. Yeah, no input containers. Wow. Good job, Michelle. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Holiday. Appreciate it. And I hope so. Hope the same for you as well. Thank you again. I do appreciate that. Maybe I need another elevator over here? Where I have that hatch? There we go. I feel kind of silly, but anyway. All that stuff should light up because everything it needs is already there. And then 9, backspace, backspace, that puts them away. Okay, so the first question is: are you already a programmer? Have you done have you done coding before? Yep, that's good. Oh, for Pete's sakes, Michelle. There we go. That's better. I was wondering why that didn't sound right. Not in the past decade. Okay. Then what I would recommend you do is start by looking at somebody else's code. the stuff I do is pretty simplex. It's probably, honestly, a good place to start. One sec. The two I recommend you take a look at are Poor Man's Refiner. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to want the Lewis Sources folder. And then once you've got a grasp on roughly how that one works, go in and take a look at not Tiny Factory. For goodness sakes, stay away from Tiny Factory to start with. Dispenser price panels is another one. Is another good one. Airlock Manager is another good one, but it's incomplete. These are all pretty straightforward stuff. Industry Tattletale is a good one also. So yeah, I would go with Poor Man's Refiner Manager and Industry Tattletale. That'll teach you most of what you need to know to be able to work Lua in Dual Universe, which is really what you're trying to achieve anyway. Yep, I think that's where a lot of us our age started. Oh, did you hear that they're reviving the Commodore 64? Commodore's the Commodore brand has been purchased by a group of enthusiasts, and they are in the process of building an all-in-one PC that's got the same form, fit, styling, etc., etc., as the old Commodore 64, and eventually they're going to do the Amiga 128 as well, which I think is fabulous. Nice. I wonder, actually, that reminds me. New Commodore 64. New Commodore computer. C64universe.com. There we are. That is amazing. 40 years later, still boots. Beige Starlight Founders. USB cassette. That's delightful. Somewhat better than I remember it. 1080p. Oh, that's delightful. How much... Okay, they don't have pricing yet. Okay, that's fine. I was just curious. Wow. 1982. Was it really that long ago? I don't even remember this one. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. I'll likely wind up picking one up just entirely for... Alright. So how are we doing here? Yeah, there we go. That looks much more like I expected to see. Alright, cool. Alright. Oh. Okay, there we go. So what do I want to work on next? Yep, that's better. Nice, 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 nice. Much better. Okay, cool. Okay, now this mess. Yeah, absolutely there is. So, go to your screen, and then go into here, and just change it to whatever you want. Just change the load font line to whatever makes sense. And one sec. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, no, not that. Hmm? Okay, sorry about that. I thought I had made a list of fonts that the game supported, but I don't see it. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I know there is a published list of fonts that it supports, and just change it there. You can also change the default font size. Right. And your column headers can be changed here as well. And that's just literally, so yeah, you just point at the screen, Control L, and that'll unpack it, and that's all your screen, and that's all your actual display, the actual display technology. Okay. Excellent. Are we producing something now? Yes, we are. Fantastic news. Okay. All right. Do I have... No, I don't. Okay. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. Okay. Yes, that's correct. Oh, the edit screen. No. Okay, sorry. So, what do you mean by the edit screen? When you go into the, when you go into customer? To change the list? Here? Yeah, up top right corner, there's a font size button. Just up here, right corner, and wrap lines as well as handy. So yeah, it's this corner up here. Do that right now. Lighting's not really good enough for that. I mean, I could just light it, but... What are you? Ear Orbins? Yeah, you are. Okay. Well, he said. I don't know about brightening the font. That editor is incredibly limited, which is the reason that normally what I do is that I have a text document, I work in my favorite editor, and then I copy-paste in and out of that. Because, yes, I find it kind of aggravating as well. We're about the same age, I suspect. So, yes, if I wanted to work, let's say, on the contents of this thing here, what I would do is go to the chunk I wanted, Control-A, copy, save it as just a junk document in my favorite editor, and then work with whatever color palette or font size or screen width I like. And then when I'm done, Control-A, bring it back in here, paste it in, apply, done. Which is how I do my programming for Lua. I don't use that editor unless I can avoid it. Like some things, if it's a spelling mistake, it's just quicker to... But I do all my primary work outside of it. Let's see here. How tightly can I wrap that? Well, yeah, I mean, technically that would go. And I'd leave a decent amount of space there. Do I need that extra little bit? Because I could go one window wider, right? No, I think I'm going to leave it like this. We'll do that. So that would go there. I don't want to do that. Yep, let's do it. And we'll go there. Wondering why I'm grabbing from over here, it's because there are some mistakes in the other one that I fixed in this over here. Grab from there to there to here. And copy. Oh, sheet dip. All right, that's fine. Hang on, I'm not confident about that. So let's do this. Come on. It's not a skill testing question. It really isn't. It's not supposed to be, at least. And then... that. Yeah, that's... I don't know why that always winds up looking wrong whenever I do one of those corners. Oh, right. That was the question. Not the question I just answered, but the other question. Yeah, no, that's... okay, that is correct. Okay. I was just remembering wrong. But better to check than... yeah. Okay. Okay, that does exactly what it's supposed to. Very good. And yeah, that'll leave me plenty of room down here. Okay, we're at 44 of those, so we can do a couple more. All right. Okay. And then... Yep, there we go. Oop, that's not right. What happened here? Where did we break? So that's right. And then we come up half a voxel short there. Yeah, I don't mind that. And then here, we're a full square short. Okay. Guess we'll do it the slow way then. Yep, we can do that. Keep doing that. And then, yeah, we get that weirdness that happens. Alright, well, that'll be a 3 then. Because that's... yeah, we can do that. Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Whoops. There we go. So we want triangle or corner? I think it's corner we want. Yep, there we go. So that's going to have to get sawed off along that line. But that's what I was wondering. I didn't. That was a question I had anyway. So now I have an answer. This will get set aside for now. Must be somebody in the neighborhood. Hey, Wreck Potato, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Good to have you hanging out. How are things? I saw the big announcement today. Congratulations. Milestone passed. That's awesome news. I am glad to have contributed in some small way. I'll be, probably won't be in on the first ring. I just don't see timetable for it. But, yeah, if only nostalgia's sake, I will likely be getting myself some place to put an office on when you get your second ring on the go. Sounds grand. Yeah, I originally had planned to hook up with you and do some roid running there, but I wasn't feeling well at all last weekend, so allow me to didn't have the spoons. It was really the I had to pick my battles very carefully, and being on a live stream just was not in the cards. So yeah, but yeah, I'd love to sit and have a chat about future. Sounds fun, actually. Now, what did I manage to do here? What are you? Why do I have... Okay, that's glossy aluminum. What did I do? Ran glossy aluminum over there, and then promptly forgot it. Good job. Good job. Oh, yeah, I just can't get over it, honestly. What they've achieved is astonishing. Oh, we're swamped. Okay. Glossy aluminum. Wait a minute. Glossy aluminum. Okay. I hate it when I do stuff like that. So what? We're two blocks wide? Yeah, we are. Okay. Not the end of the world. Just a slight change in plan. in. Okay. All right. We'll worry about the back section in a minute. That's better. Okay, that looks right. Yeah, like I said, when I first joined it, I had my reservations because some of the decisions that they were making just seemed to titch back backwards. But I said, hey, is the most popular server. Now, 100 people in the same place doesn't mean they're all making a mistake. It doesn't mean they're all right. They could all be making a mistake. You know, see politics. But I'm been actually really pleased with just how much fun the server is and the community that's gathered here and some of the names and stuff I'm seeing. Yep, there is. YFS. One sec, getting link. Since I have this open anyway. So what's the problem here? We're still fetching up on this side, so this edge needs to move back more. Okay, sure. Well, shave it back another. What I'm gonna do is just knock this whole edge out, including steps, for now. Oh, wrong button. Okay, ad starts in 20 seconds, so apologies for the ad breaks, folks. As always, if you're in a position to contribute with a prime sub, that would be awesome, but is not obligated. Yep. You know, and it sounds so absolutely pithy, I'll be quite honest with you, but it really does come down to the remark that Lunar made to me once while we were chatting, which was, quote, all we're doing is listening to the customers. They're just doing the stuff that people said they wanted. Oh, right. I've got... We gonna level out now or not? Okay, we got plenty of fuel for me to FAFO. Okay. so what's the problem? Is it that back edge as well? It kind of looks like it. Okay, so let's go to the start position. What did I just bump? It's got to be this edge again. Because there's nothing there, or... What's... Okay. And if I go idle, what do you do? Okay, so it's the right, it's the other edge now. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this... Alright, so that edge looks like I'm clipping this. Okay, well, that's fine. That's easy to resolve. I'm just going to cut this out of here for now. That ought to, I think, yeah, there's something here that's not making sense to me. And I suspect I know what the problem is, so let me just do an experiment. I'm pretty sure that what's happening is it's defining the hitbox as from this line straight up. Not here, and then here, and then here, but that is the furthest point forward, so it draws the collision box straight up from that line. Pretty sure that's what's going on. Because there's no way that shouldn't have fit. Particularly when you see what the size of the hole it gaps into up top. Okay, go to start position, please. Because officially this thing's got less than a 1/4 meter resolution on the guidance, so there's no way it shouldn't fit into the hole. Just let this thing settle itself out. I mean, maybe that there? Okay. So, well, actually, since I don't have to be on board to do this, move... and then up, down, and then I want to move -2 meters. So downwards, in other words. That's probably too tight. Whoops. Okay. And I can't enter build mode while I'm operating this thing. What I can do, however, is enable that and turn this off. Just hang there, would you? trim this back a quarter. Yes, they can. I know that because people are selling them in the on Market Zero. Okay. Now it could be that it just simply might not like having that overhang there, but we'll see. Because if I can tighten this up a little bit more, that would make, like on the front and back, that would make me happy. And then equip. Invalid construct. What's going on? Oh, right. This gets annoying in a hurry. That's your cunning plan, really? Now, is this thing in the open or closed position right now? Yeah, so definitely there's something weird going on, because that should be reaching all the way out there. Okay. But you think that is reasonable. Okay, I'll play your silly game. And then 1, 2. I didn't bother. Okay, stop. Because if I don't line this up, I will drive myself silly. Okay. Can I get both of them? No, I cannot. Okay, that's fine. You can go there. And then I want to go up 1, oops, 1 and then 2. And we'll just wiggle on over here, and down like so. Yep, that's fine. And then because I have one of them their suspicion things, I'm going to do that. And we're going to do this. Copy it. And your steel, your copper, steel, carbon fiber. Okay, I don't have anything I'm looking for. Oop, no, I want it. Do I not have any plastic of value? Gloss. I can use glossy carbon. That's cheap enough. Ah, there we go. Shouldn't matter. Absolutely should not matter. Bet you it does. Okay, so if I just turn you off, you're gonna fall out of the sky like a... What? You're kidding, right? That's all it was. I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. Okay, so move to start position. You lift up neatly. Okay, move up 222 meters. Hey, Holiday, yes. Have you seen this thing in operation? Or actually, have you seen my space station? Which is really what it's about. Okay. Let me, okay. Let's hit the start location. I'm just trying to perfect the landing cycle for this thing. I had it set up and then made changes to the ground station, and that blew everything. And it hasn't been landing properly, so yeah. Software is free. Okay, so, because it runs on a remote control, you just define your waypoints where you want to go, right? And in this case, I've got one on the ground, which is start, and the end point, which is, quote, the high port. So, we'll just get going. The build itself is a DIY. I'm using kit software, and then following the online how to bolt together, and yeah. So it's a little bit of a rough fit right now because I got about this far to it, and then they announced the Vulcan engines, and I realized that converting this thing over to use Vulcans would probably save me a lot of visual space. I mean, it's the same mass. It's not going to save me any... There's going to be no performance gain. But in terms of what it looks like and the compactness of it, I'll be able to build a better-looking machine once the rest of the Vulcans come out. So I've kind of stopped doing the voxeling on it. So it's pretty straightforward. What it does is calculates a vertical ray, and then follows that ray as a series of waypoints. So I've got my platform 90 kilometers up off the surface. Teehee. And so, yeah, we start braking about halfway there, right? So we burn to half and then brake for the remainder of the distance. You'll start to see the station when we get down to about when the speed's ticking about 2100. Oh yes, they are going to be. And there's the station. Work in progress. So there we go. Toggles on up. Gets itself into a resting position, and I've got a remote control over here. That triggers a receiver, a transmitter-receiver pair, activates a force field, drops the locking doors in position, and then I just turn it off, and it settles itself down. And there we are. So yeah, nice little rig. The software is, like I say, the stated accuracy is half a voxel. So, if you were to build, if this thing was perfectly rectangular, all I would need to know is the length and width. Drill a hole 1 voxel wider than that, and it should fit, and it should just work. So, when it doesn't, I know it's something I've done stupid. Including the fact that it's kind of an odd shape, because again, just trying to get... What I was trying to do is get a central area with, sort of like a harbor ferry, for lack of a better way, is the vibe I'm going for on this center area. So lots of chairs, a ramp that you can come and go from, blah, blah. Eventually, this is going to be a force field that when this is off, then there'd be a force field cutting across here. There's a couple of things like that I'm going to work on just to finish it up, but yeah. So the idea is that anybody on Haven wants to get up to orbit, they can. Jump on. Only takes a minute. Now, did I bring any cargo with me? Or yeah, that was empty. Okay, that's fine. So I've been moving some stuff up here and doing some building and stuff. Those buoys mark the top corners of the L core. They're don't hit me's. And that's where the flight deck or the landing deck for this monster is going to be. All right, you can see I've gotten started with it up there. And then up here, the idea is a little bit of creativity in terms of visual, and this is all, the idea is to have this all glassed over, and if and when I actually get a corporation going and there's people hanging out up here doing whatever, this is essentially a viewing deck, right? You'll be able to see the lander when it's docked or when it's coming and going, right? And then the idea is that I'm going to be setting up a bunch of tiny factory here going downwards. And so the lander will become, and that whole interior space is going to be glassed. So as you're coming upwards, you'll be going past all this factory equipment that's churning away, right? I think it's going to be a cool look. But for now, it's primarily an orbital transfer station for getting large amounts of asteroid material and or deliveries from other players to up and to and from the planet. I've got a delivery box up here so that I can have people just drop stuff up here. They don't have to fly all the way down to Haven to do courier work. Yeah, that's what it is. And I need to put a force field ramp here as well. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but all right, there we go. Get itself properly positioned. close the door, unlock the doors, so that light is now off. And then down we go. Whoops, stop. What are you doing? What happened there? What? Oh, that's interesting. Why did it do that? Okay, what did I break? Obviously something has changed. So, what am I snagged up on? Well, that's interesting. Move. So first off is idle. Then move. And we're going to go right 1 meter. Nope, really. Huh. This is highly unusual. The whole thing's gotten itself completely crook here. Alright. Move -U and then -2. Just go downwards. Can you do that? No, you cannot. Alright then. What happened? It's like it hit that. It's. What is it? It's acting as though. Oh, you stupid thing. Why is that sticking out that far? It's just enough to extend the hitbox. Okay, let's get it squared up. Back against the wall. Clicky button. Alt-Y is it? Alt-T then. No, it was Alt-Y. I was hitting Alt-T. Okay, here we go. Almost by definition, the ceiling is flat. Okay. So that's something that probably a server maintenance did, because I know that wasn't like that for a while. Okay, now, can we go to that location, please? Yeah. All locks are open? Yep. Okay. Let it finish fussing over that last quarter meter, because that is literally the width of a voxel. Okay. That's what it was. Door was out. The locking door was out of position. That's need to be careful. This is why I was telling you, we need to figure out where your direct down from your station is to the closest planet, and get one of these set up for you on a tile. And you just load from this, anybody who, and you can geofence them, by the way, which means they can't leave the column of the elevator. And you can make them as big as you want. I made it this big because that's all I need. It's 2 L cores, right? Yeah, this one's by Yowari. Um, and then, yeah, I know who you're talking. Saga HUD Saga HUD was a collaboration of 3 or 4 people, one of whom was working on an elevator, and then Jericho got mad at everyone closed sourcing their elevators and wrote an open source elevator to put everybody out of business. Which, okay, sure. So the cool thing about this is that, I mean, I'm sitting down in the chair because it lets me do the wide camera pan, right? But you can walk around and do stuff while this thing's re-entering. It's not a big deal. Now, you gonna behave this time? Yep. Worked perfectly. That's all it was. All the stupid things. Okay. So then, like I say, I mean, I got more work to do on the ride experience, but you get the idea, right? And you can program multiple routes. Like if I wanted, I could set it up so I could take off from here and have it just drift, go up 10 meters, drift over and land in the middle of the landing pad over there, and then, basically play that route backwards. Likewise, Market 16 is over there. I could literally just have it take off from here, go 100 meters up in the air, drift over and sit down right in the middle of one of the pads over there, and then I'd be able to play that course backwards, right? Okay, and then when you're done, just turn it off. Okay, cool. So now that I've got that issue figured out, it was just, yeah, all right. So now I can clean this up a bit. And then probably what I will do is set up using the same channel and push button system, the quote laser bridge boarding ramps and such. And that'll be, because that doesn't matter where core edges are, it just works. So yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, it's a fantastic piece of kit. Anybody who's going to be doing a lot of ground to space just purely for utility reasons, i.e. dragging cargo down, just put a high port in orbit, have people drop stuff off, and have an elevator. Just be done with it. Because that's not the fun kind of flying. That's just the, it's in my way flying. So, don't do that kind. Only 2 of over 40. Ouch. Alright. Yeah, we're out of copper again. Yeah, way low on copper. Yep. Out of copper everywhere. Oh well. It is. Where... Um, brilliant. Someone dropped some off at Haven. And for a entirely reasonable price. Okay. Yeah, okay. That'll do. Is there anything else I'm short on, since I'm going over there anyway? Pyrite. Pyrite, malachite, petalite as usual. Nope, nothing close. Okay. Purchase order, and no one's filled it. Okay. Nope. Mattis 6. Yeah, that's just a little bit more of a jaunt that I'm interested in. And then... Petalite. And again, nothing for sale locally. Okay. Okay, let's go get that. Whoops.
Albatross systems ready.
Okay, let's get going. Ten 1,000 meters, 3,000 kilometers per hour. Engines off. And let's get our Next burn figured out here. That ought to be it. There we go. That's most of the way to where we want to be lined up. Next burn. Yep. I'm a sim pilot, and so I get a kick out of the actual process of flying. All right. There we go. Like, this thing has an autopilot. I could just set it to auto align and go, and it did mostly do the right thing. It's a little bit more cranky than the auto murder on Arcade, but it's not bad. One of the best auto murders I've seen is actually Aviator 1280s. He modeled his after the control system for the Airbus liners, because he's an Airbus pilot in real life, and literally would do orbital insertion followed by retro brake and put you right down on the ground. If you needed to, in a tail stand, if you had a tail lander, just absolutely stunning piece of work. Unfortunately, it had no understanding of what a mountain was, so like I say, it's an incredibly good auto murder system, but it will still murder you. No, that's it. There we go. Okay. All right, 10 SU. That's our acceleration burn done. We'll just coast for a little bit. It's looking pretty good. Dark Angel's doing a really good job. So what it is they've got a skeleton of this hull that they're in the process of doing all of the all the voxel work on, and then what I'm doing is importing those changes onto this one while I do flight tests and such. And, for example, tweaking brakes, tweaking the position of the wings, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this will be done by time of the fly-in. Somebody just won one of the blueprint for this thing on over on Necro's stream today. I got to find out from them who it is I owe a blueprint to. So they'll get a copy of the beta blueprint, and the idea is that beta blueprints come with free upgrades. So until I declare it a finished product, that way any changes, tweaks to just basically take yours apart, use the new blueprint, bang, you've got the latest version. Done. But yeah, mostly I'm pretty happy with how it works. It's a faithful enough reproduction. I could go tighter than this, but I also don't. There's part of building in DU is respecting DU itself. So I have had a couple people ask for a version of this that is much more close to the television show version. And so that one will have Vulcan engines and things like that on it, but for the new, this is the new player version. Look, me. Okay, back in the cockpit here because approach time. This is my design. Yep. It's an S-Core hull, so blueprints will be about 400 grand a piece, I think. I gotta double check a couple things. Part of that, it'll be between quarter million and 400 quarter million and 400,000 for the blueprint, depending on how finicky Dark Angel gets with the finished product. All right, down to 14,000 kilometers per hour, 1.68 to atmosphere. SU to destination. Nice, easy approach. We're down under 8,000, so my maneuver thrusters now have authority. We'll adjust our flight course a little bit here, and we're going to bring that nose profile down a lot. Come off brakes. Here we go. We're 1.5 SU to atmosphere and 10 kilometer braking distance, so we'll just plunge into the gravity well here and coast our way down. I do not have ice wall fitted on this thing, so that means that I do actually have to respect my burn speed. The burn speed for this thing in upper atmosphere is around 1,600 kilometers an hour, so Mach 1.2, so that's pretty forgiving for re-entries. But I'd like to get that up around 2,000. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been sort of having regrets on that side of things. I'll never play this game again. Who cares? 8 months later, I wish I had all my BPs. Yeah. I had a little bit of that. There is one thing that I kind of wish I could get back, but I can't. But I just look at it as the digital equivalent of a mandala. It exists to be erased. So I'm having fun recreating some of my favorite things better. Alright, we are 95 km from atmosphere, 14k braking distance. Just cutting into the edge of the planetary influence now. Mach 4. .45-degree down angle. It's perfectly healthy. Damn, that's pretty. Okay, 30k to atmosphere, 20k to brake. Continuing to shallow a bit. Bring the nose down so we're a little bit more aligned with our entry angle. 9k to atmosphere, braking. Need to get down to sub Mach 2. Mach 2. Mach 1.5. Mach 1. 1.4k to atmosphere. Down angle. Into the atmosphere. Bringing the nose up. Lighting fires. And there we go. Nice and easy. Successful re-entry. Gliding at Mach 0.9. Use our the secret sauce to this ship that makes it so easy to do a re-entry with is this. Paramedium lift engine, paramedium engines in the vertical position. This thing will basically hover with damn near its own weight just on the value of those two engines. It's very difficult to knock this thing over. Yeah, I mentally gave up on the whole thing as soon as they started talking about myDU. When that was the great news that they had to announce, I said, okay, there's only one reason you do that. Because that's going to fragment the community even further, so they're going to have to shut the MMO server down. At which point I just said, I'm not interested anymore, I cannot be bothered putting time into this. Yep, ads end in 18 seconds. This thing dances an awful lot when it's empty. Okay, we're at 1,700 meters. I'm going to hold altitude because, well, yeah. The tallest someone can build something is 1,600 meters. The tallest mountain is 1,600 meters, so I try not to fly below 1,700. It's a terrible flight sim, but it's a fun game. Okay. Glide at Mach 0.9, fires out. Sorry about that, hit the mouse. A little bit clippy on the frame rate. Noticed Albatross does this every once in a while. There we go.
Landing mode engaged.
Now, this is my one concession. Since the game makes no attempt at MLS or any other 20th century modern landing or navigating technology, I do my landings in third person. There we go. Yeah, stupid tree. There we go. Okay. Since we're going by, yep. Yes, I have. I have 3 tiles on Sanctuary, in fact.
Albatross systems ready.
I do need to be careful flying through here. There's a lot of sticks, and I do not mean trees. And rude sticks at that. Core just hanging there, no Lumi on it whatsoever. Apparently I need to reboot. Not reboot, but... Yep. You can have as many as you want to spend reward tokens on, 7 per tile. For your first tile purchase is free. After that, it's 100,000 per tile for setup fees. But yeah. Same as claiming a tile anywhere else. There's a purchase fee, right? Okay. And we get to see who's parked in a really bad location with an art display. Ugh, frame rate. Mm-hmm.
Landing mode engaged.
Anybody going to zone in under me like last time? No, it doesn't look like it. I was most of the way down to the pad the last time I was landing, and an entire L core zoned in underneath me. Awkward. Hey Leroy, are you over at your station right now, by chance? I've got 120 monitors to drop off to you, and you keep not being there when I go by. Okay, cool. I'll be over in just a moment then. Well, 5 minutes, right? How can I see in first person? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, I just flight sim pilot. Been doing this for I've been doing this since the days of my Commodore 64 with Microsoft Flight Simulator. It just is. I even actually use a narrower field of view than most players. Because most flight sims, your preferred field of FOV is 72 degrees. I've actually changed from the default 90 for the game to 72 because it's just more comfortable for me.
Albatross systems ready.
Okay, close the door. Okay. Let's not aim towards the large hunk of metal in the way. Or the frame that's right there, and. Come on. Claw. There we go. Alright, well, we're climbing. Oops, bookmarks. Over there, okay. 2,000 meters, still climbing. Here we go. Main engine kick in. Yeah, ship's carrying its own weight at this point. Six km, 7 km, 8, 9, 10 kilometers. Just need to see the magic 3,000. Come on. There we go. 3,000 meters, 3,000 kilometers an hour. Okay. Fires out. Let's get ourselves turned around here. Alright. There we go. Reminder, by the way, Leroy, the screens are already paid for, so this is just dropping them off. You don't owe me anything. No, thank you. Cool. Little 3.8 SU. Won't be there too long. Much less dancy when it's carrying its own weight and cargo. Alright, there we go. Okay, got it. Half an SU braking distance so I can burn for a little bit longer. Okay. Fire out. And we'll start braking here in just a moment. Brakes on. Okay. Coasting in here. There we go. Brakes on again. Got to figure out what the quirk is to this thing, that it's got an uneven roll. I don't know. I'm guessing it's that I've got one set of adjusters way too far back, but I got to play with it to figure it out. I'm kind of limited by the shape of the vehicle, right? So it just may be a quirk of the thing. So, okay, cool. Terminal maneuvering here in just a second. I want to come to full zero and then we'll worry about closing in. Mostly because it gives the station a chance to render in. Just about did it to myself the last time I came into visit. Had the station basically spawn around me. That was awkward. I don't know how I didn't die. That's a very comfortable 10K. Yep. And you can see it from here. 11K away from bookmark, and you can see it. That's impressive. Primary concern is if there's actually a solid object at that bookmark now. Or if renovations have dismantled it. I'm not seeing anything that looks like a solid object at that bookmark.
Landing mode engaged.
Looking good. Looking real good. Yeah, very cool. All right, here we are. Okay, just make sure I've got my... Yep, cool. There you are. Okay, well, I like the lime green dragon. That's dragon ship. That's what I call that. That's a cool look. And there you go, my friend. Take care of yourself. Let me know if you need anything else. Just upgrade. I know you've been expanding like hell over here, and I've just done a bunch of that over my location. So any little odd jobs, whatever. All right, I'm gonna get this pile back to my spot so I can do some more. Wow, looking good. Actually, what is different? Ah, that's what's different. Yep. You put the roads on the edges. The old version, they were right through the middle of the tile, and it was just awkward. Yep, I like it. Much better. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Take care. Have a quick peek around, because I love stuff like this. Wow. And it goes down. Oh, I like how you handled that. Nice. Yeah. It really, you don't really get a sense of scale for the station. Yeah, I like the, okay, absolutely +1 on the force field windows. That is a favorite thing of mine. But you really don't get a sense of how big the station is until you kind of stick your nose in here and you see all that vertical. That's fantastic. Love it. Yeah, nicely done. Kept the shadow art. I deeply appreciate that. Nice work on the staircase. Staircases are a thing for me. Yeah. Okay, and there's the quote tramway. Now, how does this align with the rest of the station? Okay, I see it. All right. So this is, how you got this built? Under the, wow, okay. All right. You really don't get a sense of the scale of this thing, oddly enough, from the outside. Right, because when you're coming down at it, even at an off angle, you're looking at it at a very odd profile, and so most of what visually dominates you is the curve. But it's when you're down here looking at it edge on that you really get an understanding of the scale of the architecture of this thing. Absolutely brill. Love it. Yeah, very nice. Okay, you went with the suggestion I had, which was inlighting the cable there. That's cool. That looks good. You get the little glimpses of the Lumi from time to time, like that. Of course, I'm biased. Yeah. This is a much better design. Much better design. All right, awesome. Take care of yourself, Mr. Holiday. Thank you so much for dropping in. Do appreciate you. Okay, and you've got your garden set up over here. I like that. Yep, looks good. Cool. Yeah, really nice. Very cool. Awesome. Well, like I say, can't sort it out right now, but yeah, probably for the next ring, I'll be looking at setting up Club 6C again. All right, let's head for home.
Albatross systems ready.
Okay, we'll get a little bit of forward momentum going. Get ourselves looking retrograde. And damn, that's cool. Yep, damn cool. All right. Map. Territories. Haven. Set destination. Apparently it's down this way. We'll get a forward throttle and we'll get ourselves moving and get a vector going the right way, and you know. Intentionally dip a little bit below the planetary point for the first burn, and then I'll worry about the details after that. Still plenty of fuel, so. Just gonna brute force the vector over. There we go. Okay. We got 12 SU to go, so we'll burn for 4. see they're testing the PvP. There's a bunch of folks, Angry Dad, Hostile, Me Away, a bunch of them shooting each other on the in the PvP channel. That's funny. Let's see here. Go. We'll coast for 4SU, and then we'll do our burn. We're still picking up the atmosphere for Sanctuary, so I don't have a real distance on the planet. So I'm going to presume that's 1 SU closer than it is. So instead of starting at distance 4, I'll start breaking at distance 5 until I actually get a sense of how far that actually is. Oh, okay, there we go. Haven. We're 5.4. Okay, we're 5.4 to atmosphere. All right, that's fine. That's comfortable. Okay. Let's get back in the ship, as it were. And braking. Alrighty. Nice and easy. My thrusters gain, my maneuvering thrusters gain authority at about 8,000 kilometers an hour, so I'll off brakes at that point. I'll start dipping the nose fairly hard at that point. Thruster dragging the nose around here. There we go. Looking good. 24K to atmosphere. 4,000 kilometers an hour. Keeping my down angle between 30 and 40 degrees. Mach 2. 5K to atmosphere. Mach 1. 1K to atmosphere. In the atmosphere. Fires on. Bringing the nose up. And there we are. Bringing the nose down. 1K stopping distance here, so I do need to pay some careful attention as we're coming in here. Okay, fire out. Switch to external.
Landing mode engaged.
Ooh, come on. Gently. There we go. That was nearly bad. There we go. Not my best landing, but not, not terrible. Okay. And we got stuff. Yay. Okay, where did I leave the scooter? Oh, it's over here. Oh, that's right. We've got a load of ore over at the other place. Let's unload this. A little hard, but okay, whatever. Let's unload that. There we go. Okay. Now, we're going to change to silo, no, ore bin. Malachite. There we go. That should keep me running for a bit. There we go. Okay. Been a busy night of space flying. Alrighty. Get the industry chewing on all that rock I just brought home. That's a bit better. Okay. That looks better. Just taking a look to see what I've got running here. Yeah. Filling in the holes where we were running low on copper and lithium. Let that go for a minute here. Oh goodness, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I should probably wrap this up. Well, there we go. That's pretty. I like that. Slowly getting where it is I want to go. Alrighty, there we go. Another good evening of DU. Yeah. So that's going to be it for me for this evening. Tomorrow is my birthday, so at some point I will be on a stream for a little while. Just because my thing to do. I enjoy it. Yeah. So all in all, yeah, good day. I hope you all have fun with whatever games you're playing. Take care of yourselves. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that, Rect. Oh, glad you enjoyed it. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. Just realized it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so do need to go get some sleep. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow sometime during the day for a couple hours at least. And doing more do. I do enjoy this game. I really do. Irony and pun notwithstanding. Really do. So,